I just spent an entire week living with the Esselstyns, the founding fathers of whole food, plant-based nutrition. Let's see if I can go the week without having protein powder, stevia, or chocolate. I'm gonna be living a drastically different life, and I'm not the first person to do this. Since 2011, the Esselstyns have graciously welcomed people into their home to be able to experience the transformative effects of a whole food, plant-based diet by being fully immersed. So why am I doing this? Aside from my lifelong dream of being the long-lost daughter of Caldwell Esselstyn Jr., I wanted to, one, taste the new Plant Strong product. Number two, and see how this diet compares for people reversing cardiovascular disease and for my ladies that I work with in menopause. Now, I agree with the Esselstyns on the vast majority of things. We do have some differences. So I invite you to stay to the end of the video to hear my final thoughts and takeaways. So let's dive in and let's get packed for camp. The Disney World, the Super Bowl, the greatest event that I have been wanting to go to forever, the Plant Strong retreat. But let's start packing. So the best part about this retreat is that I do not have to bring any food. And you know how annoying it is to go away because you don't have to just pack your clothes and your toiletries. You have to bring an entire week of food if you're going somewhere that doesn't have your food. But this retreat is going to have all the food, too much food. I actually might bring Tupperware containers to take some food home, but I really don't want to, look like the schutz or the garbage can of the group. So I might not, but maybe just in case, We're going to pack some vitamins. This is the vitamins I've been taking. And if you read the label, I don't know if you can see. These are the men's vitamins. I have been accidentally taking men's vitamins because they sent me the wrong bottle. And it's so funny because my hair, and I'm not just talking this hair. If you know, ladies, my hair has been growing at the most rapid rate it has ever grown. So I think it's this vitamin, and I think it's because it's the men's vitamins, because men probably need a lot of hair help, and they probably just put good stuff in the men's vitamins, of course. Like, they're not going to put anything in the women's vitamins, right? So little pro tip, if anyone is struggling with hair growth, buy some men's vitamins. That's seriously all you need. Just make sure that your waxing appointments are at an earlier cadence. So as for clothes, we have some laundry happening behind me, but I'm going to bring a lot of sweatsuits. This is my favorite power suit. It's from this brand called Kill Crew, which I just love supporting because it's all about killing your anxiety, depression, PTSDs. Emailing Lori, shout out Lori, who got me into this retreat, but I was emailing her as soon as I realized that this retreat was in Sedona since I just moved here. I was like, please, 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 I'll do anything. I'll volunteer. I'll clean the toilets. I'll be Dr. Esselstyn's personal assistant for the week. Whatever you need me, I will be there. And I'm just so excited. But it's so funny. My mom sent me a care package and she put in 2 headbands. So Jane, and you are going to rock a Plant Life headband by the end of this retreat. We're going to go pack. We're going to leave. We're going to go get the rental car, and we're going to be on our way to Sedona. Little update. We may have gotten a speeding ticket, and we may have put the wrong retreat center in our GPS. I got myself in that pickle because I did not read the direction. Since it was right in my backyard, I actually got the last spot on Thursday night for the week starting Sunday. So Lori, shout out Lori, sent over this amazing just directions list, which I said, nee, Holy Grail reference, because I am an Arizonian. I've been to Sedona. I should know exactly where to go. Wrong. Always read the directions. So I plugged in a totally different place, and I was 90 minutes out of the way. So when I arrived, here are just the bedrooms. Everything was so clean and so beautiful. We went right into our evening activity, which was our icebreaker. So if you go to this retreat, you have to immerse yourself in the community. Community is one of the pillars for just lifestyle and longevity living. So you have to embrace, you have to talk, you have to make friends and throw yourself into the family. So we did that on the first night, and then we went to bed to wake up early in the morning. So each day starts at about 7 a.m. We have an activity we can choose from. There is functional fitness, there is walking, and then there is yoga and meditation. We spend an hour doing that. So direct sunlight, there is no coffee served first thing in the morning. The first thing that we do is get sunlight in our eyes and delay our caffeine, which I do agree with and I do love, because that is one way to reduce your cortisol levels for menopausal women. After the hour wraps up of our activity, we head into the dining hall for breakfast. So the big premise of this event is you can eat as much as you want. Dr. Esselstyn actually eats unlimited cereal throughout the day. Whenever he wants cereal, he actually eats raw oatmeal with soy milk. We walk into this dining hall, and we weren't the only people at this retreat center. This retreat center houses a lot of people on different spiritual journeys. So some people were in silence, some people were with other groups, but they served whole food, plant-based for all of us. So you go in, there is unlimited greens, unlimited cooked oatmeal, unlimited Rips Plant Strong granola and Plant Strong Big Bowl cereal, and then the most amazing fruit I've ever had in my life, the tastiest fruit I've ever had in my life, and flaxseed and different varieties of balsamic vinegar. So I had greens every single morning with my breakfast. One of the mornings we had pancakes, but the other days it was just the starch and the fruit and the greens. One day had tofu scramble, but the rest of the days had no added protein. Stay to the end of the video when I give my recommendations for menopause, but it was a very just low fat breakfast. So after breakfast, and yes, they do serve coffee, but absolutely no sweeteners. So that was a little difficult because I do like my stevia in my coffee. But after breakfast, you go to the very first event. There were a smattering of whole food plant-based doctors there, like Dr. Asbill, Dr. Musalem, and also Dr. Lyle. So they would take turns giving talks on different aspects, type 2 diabetes, heart disease, cancer, longevity. So we would have our morning lecture. Then Jane Esselstyn, Dr. Esselstyn's daughter, would do a different recipe or series of recipes every single day, from sauces to dinners to breakfast, and my favorite day was desserts. So we would do that, and we would have so many dance breaks. They would not let us sit for more than 30 minutes without getting up, stretching, dancing. I tell you, if all of our work days were like that, we would be a much healthier population. After the morning session, we go back into the dining hall for lunch, and the lunches varied as well. One of the days it was a lentil dal with delicious pineapple and apple chutneys. Another day, which was my favorite, was tofu peanut bowls, mainly just rice or a different type of grain like farro, and beans, and lots of greens, lots of non-starchy vegetables. I actually counted, and there were 54 different vegetables that I put in my mouth the entire week. I think that was more than I've had over this past year. So it was just extreme diversity, and it was delicious and tasty and yummy. However, without having the protein and the fat there at each meal, it was very difficult to feel full, and I would have to eat a lot of starch, and it would make me feel a little bit tired after the meal. I'm not used to having that much starch, and then I'm also not used to having dessert. So there was dessert served only 2 days out of the entire week. And Jane Esselstyn herself says that their family does not eat dessert more than once per month. And that is something that, again, we'll say to the end of the video for the thoughts. But after lunch, we go back, we do one more session, another talk, or another active activity. One of the days we had a menopause support group, which was phenomenal. And it really confirmed a lot of the things that I'm telling my clients. Dr. Musalem, the oncologist, her breakfast that she recommends to her menopausal clients is literally line for line the exact same breakfast that's part of my blueprint, which is my method of eating for my clients. So everything was in alignment. I shared a lot on what we do with our clients to reduce menopause symptoms naturally. You don't have to go on HRT if you don't want to. And it was just very reassuring to hear that Dr. Esselstyn and his wife Anne and also Jane, they really advocate for themselves. They're not going really to doctors because this way of eating is so powerful. When they do go to doctors, they suggest hiring your doctor, meaning going to different doctors until you find one that aligns with you. So after the afternoon talk or group, we would do another afternoon workout type activity. You can choose from breath work. You can choose from a really rigorous hike that Jane would lead every day. And you should have seen these people going on these hikes. There were some people there that were in their 70s, 80s. The best woman, oh my gosh, shout out to Diane. Diane was one of the sweetest women. She was 80 years old and she was very loudly and proudly saying that she's dating a 57-year-old man. So that's the power of just remaining childlike and happy and youthful throughout your years. You are just as young as you say that you are. So we would do a hike and then we would get ready really fast for dinner. And dinner again was a little bit more dense than lunch. For example, one of the nights was a pasta night. Another night was a loaded potato. That was my favorite. The cheese sauce was to die for. I took an entire ladle of the cheese sauce, put it in a bowl, and ate it like soup. That had cashews in it. So they were really very clear about what had nuts because this way of eating is super carb focused and they are saying to limit fat to 10%, which is something, again, stick around to the end of the video. I have some just nuances for menopause eating. And then, like I said, they don't serve dessert every single night. For some reason, since I love Jane's book, Be a Plant-Based Woman Warrior, and her desserts in there, I was kind of assuming that there would be desserts every single night or dessert bar, but that's not the case. So it was a little bit disappointing, but it was good to have a little bit of a detox every single day. And then we had an evening fun activity like a bonfire, like Thursday we had a talent show and an evening hike, a game night. It was amazing. Like I said, you go to bed every single night just so full of life, full of energy, buzzing, exhausted, and then you hit the high. So that was the week. The takeaways. Number one, I did not expect to meet so many incredible people that I'm going to be friends with for the rest of my life, young and old. Everyone became a family. And I think that's a very important part of living with youth is feeling connected, having a community, feeling that love, laughing, joking. I met, oh my gosh, this amazing man who was an Olympic soccer coach and also a 10th degree black belt. I met ladies with these incredible stories. Diane, the woman who's dating the 57-year-old man. So we are just so connected. We have a group chat. We're going to be doing Zoom. We learned dance. We had a dance teacher here from Brazil who came to the retreat as a participant. So she led us in a dance and it was so fun and so free. So the number one takeaway is just the community. Number two takeaway is that I did lose a pound during the week. And that, I believe, is attributed to, number one, I was getting 20,000 steps every single day. I was more active than ever. And then number two within there, I did not have any added protein. We had tofu 3 times that entire week, and I was just filling up on starch. So even though I lost a pound, eating that way is not sustainable for muscle building. And then number 3 is that you cannot eat as much as you want for menopause. So this one is a little bit dense, but for the vast majority of women that are going through menopause and have the meno belly, eating this way is not going to get them to their end goal. And that's because when you lose estrogen, you are getting visceral fat. And visceral fat is driven by inflammation and driven by your hormones changing. You can't just eat a low calorie density whole food plant-based diet that they're recommending and drop all of the weight. You might have perfectly healthy blood biomarkers, A1C, cholesterol, blood pressure, but you still will have that meno belly. And I'm finding it's that rhetoric of eat as much as you want, as long as it's plant-based, is a little bit restrictive, because what I see happening is women will eat this way. After menopause, they're not really going to see a lot of results, and they go way off the wagon. And the rhetoric is stay perfectly disciplined, have your willpower, design your environment, but in everyday life, that is just not going to happen. You're not going to have a perfect environment. So you have to design yourself an environment where you can be imperfect but still make progress to your goals. So something that I teach my clients is a different way of setting up your plant-based diet where you're getting enough protein, at least 80 grams. This is called my blueprint. If you want the training and the printout on the blueprint, just click the link in the description for it. But with this blueprint is essentially if you are getting 70, 80 grams of plant protein, if you are lifting, you're going to mobilize and burn that visceral fat. And when you're building muscle, you're going to be able to eat more. And when you're able to eat more, you're not going to be hungry. And when you're not hungry, you're going to be able to stick to what you want to stick to and maintain longer. So my recommendation for menopausal women is to take the foundation of the Esselstyn way of eating, but merge it to muscle building and menopause. Menopausal women do need more protein. And Dr. Musalem, who was one of the doctors at the event, also emphasized that menopausal women need to be lifting and they can't eat as much as they want as long as it's whole food plant-based, and they have to have a little bit more protein. So all in all, it was one of the most incredible weeks of my life. I proved to myself I can go a whole week without dessert or chocolate or stevia. I felt amazing. Energy was through the roof, but long-term sustainability, especially for menopausal women who are trying to lose weight, losing that meno belly, need a few tweaks, and then they can go back to eating that way, eating as much as they want within their hunger and fullness cues. But if you're serious about losing the meno belly, you need a different approach. So check out the link in my description for the blueprint training and stick around to the next video. You're not going to want to miss it. Bye, you guys.